Hi everyone, this is Beth Pensevine with Beachway Therapy Center. I'm here joining you with our series for National Recovery Month, which is every September. Each week we go live with one of our alumni to share their story. And today we'll be speaking with Oscar. He will be joining us from Florida, and he would love to share with you his story to inspire you as well. So we'll just give him a second here to jump on. Give us one more second here as he jumps on. It just takes a second. Thank you for your patience. Hi, Steve. Okay, here we go. We got this. Here he comes. Hi, we did it.
Good.
I can hear you. I can see you. All is well.
Good. Can you hear me now?
I can. Thank you for joining us. I was letting everybody know that you're here as part of our National Recovery Month series. So thanks for jumping on with us. So to share a little bit about Oscar, Oscar was with us at Beachway Therapy Center in Florida, and he had, for 35 years, had never really dealt with his childhood trauma. And in all that time, it fueled into an addiction of alcohol and drugs. That issue that happened to you as a child, Oscar, correct me if I'm wrong, is something that was this deep down trauma that you didn't even realize it was affecting your life. Can you share with our community a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. When I was a child, about 8 years old, I was molested um, by several people. And for many years, I kept that to myself and hurt my feelings, hurt the way I thought about life. But the shame, I kept it as a secret from people that could probably actually help me. And I kept it, and I grew up with that pain for the rest of my life, until I was old. I didn't know that that would change my life so much. As a child, being 8 or 9, experiencing such a things, it did change my life drastically. But I didn't know how much it did, change my life.
And we were chatting that you, at a certain point in your life, turned to God and you became a minister. And that was really your life plan at that point, but you still hadn't dealt with that childhood trauma. And even though you turning to God helped you, it at some point you came to you just kind of fell apart. Can you share with everybody what that kind of felt like for you?
Well, before I became a minister, I was drinking alcohol and was doing cocaine for a long period of my life, and I think that now I know for a fact that before I found God, I was finding the solution to my life, and the way I was numbing my life was through alcohol and drugs. And when I met my wife, I was 26, and I had an encounter with God, and my life changed drastically. I had literally a supernatural encounter with God, and it changed my life. And I stopped drinking, and I stopped having alcohol in my life, and drugs. And for 13 years, I was sober, and things were doing great. Then um, my wife and I started having barbecues, and we introduced alcohol little by little in our lives, like a typical normal family that would drink a beer or some wine here and there. And it was fine. The only difference that my wife could stop and I couldn't stay stopped. I would just want more, and I would become somebody that I didn't want to be. And I just didn't know what was happening in my life. And then I not only I drank, but I wanted something else. I went back to doing pills, and I would go back to do alcohol. And at this point, I was already a minister. So it was a greater shame to know that I was walking with God and I knew God, but I couldn't understand what was happening to me, why I couldn't stop. At that point, I didn't understand that I was a full-blown alcoholic, and I was always a full-blown alcoholic. And today I am a full-blown alcoholic. I just don't drink anymore. But I couldn't understand that. So I tried for many, many ways, and I tried going from beer to wine, or just light, maybe the wine coolers, or just drinking occasionally. That wouldn't work for sure. So I had to hide that kind of life that I was living, because I was too ashamed of it. And I was supposed to be helping people, yet I couldn't help myself. For many years, like about 4 or 5 years, I literally was hiding this monster in this closet, which I was like, I was two people, with I didn't want to be a bad person. I just made really bad choices, but I wanted to show that I was still a good person and I was doing great. And on the outside, everything was great, but on the inside, everything was destroyed, and I didn't know how to ask for help. I literally was desperate.
There's so many people listening, watching, and if you watch this later, give us a little thumbs up. But you can relate to this. I mean, there's so many people out there living these dual lives, right? You're trying to function on the outside, but really you're tortured on the inside. And without actually dealing with why you are feeling this way from the very beginning of when you were a small child, it's hard to even move forward, right? And you had to actually get to the point where it was rock bottom. And what happened then when you finally felt at rock bottom?
Well, the game was up. I couldn't hide this anymore. I thought I could manipulate by, you know, doing some pills to take the edge off, and then I would go to work wasted. But I would do other stuff, and it just the game was people would notice that I was different. I noticed I was different. I was forgetting things. I was making big mistakes at work, with money, with dealings, with uh, making the wrong choices for work. It was just a mess. And they drove me to make really bad choices. And one of the really bad choices I made was that I was unloyal to my wife. That drove for my whole entire house to just get destroyed. I mean, it literally was horrible. I brought a lot of pain to a lot of people that I love dearly. I brought a lot of pain to my children. I have a 6-year-old and a 14-year-old. I was their world to them, and when all this came out to the light, they saw that the father was drinking, that was doing drugs, that was unfaithful to the wife. I literally lost everything. I was kicked out of my house, and I could not understand. I mean, I did understand, and I knew what was going on, but at the same time, I was desperate for help. In a way, I was kind of glad that that happened, because I was able to reach out and say, okay, this is it. I need help. So I called my sister and I said, I need help. Could you please do something? Bring me somewhere, find somewhere where I can go. And this is how my whole entire family got together, and they drove me to Beachway.
So when you were at Beachway, you went through a detox process, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And then what was next? Was dealing with the trauma something that you dealt with at Beachway?
Yes. We found out that there was trauma because when you get there, you truly don't know what really is going on. The detox period, it really helps for you to be able to talk to people not being intoxicated because you know, when you're intoxicated, who's going to listen, because you know, you just make no sense. So that period of time was great. And at Beachway, I was able to reconnect with my God, with my higher power. And that's when I was able to actually have people talk to me about what was going on in my mental health, you know, my mental health, what was going on in my head. And I went through we went through trauma with this wonderful person that really helped us. Her name is Gigi. I literally owe her my life. And we dig down into my past. And one of the things that they taught me is that we go only back to your past to try to solve the problems that we had in the past, to deal with those issues so we don't have to go back ever again. And the shame was literally removed. And I don't feel shame anymore. I don't feel guilty. I don't feel that shame that paralyzes you. Today, I actually move literally by faith, and which is the opposite of what fear does. And I'm not afraid anymore, and I'm not ashamed anymore. I'm actually using that story of being abused or going through something so traumatic in my life. I use it now to help other people, to let them know that it's okay if that happened. You know, there's nothing we can do about that, but today we can do something about what is today, and we can move from the past into a better life.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, with your blue sky behind you and, you know, the trees and everything beautiful, you can see that your life, just the picture of you now has changed. How do you feel today? And what would you say your life like is now?
Um, there's a story in the Bible that talks about this guy that literally left the father's house, and and he goes to the world and leaves the father's house when he has everything. And literally one day he realizes that he's out there eating with the pigs, just eating the worst of the worst. And the word of God says that he realizes that, what am I doing eating from the pigs when at my father's house he has the best of the best? And he realizes that. And literally, in my case, I was eating with the pigs. I was eating the worst of the worst when I realized that at my father's house, I have so much better. And at that point is when I went back to the Father. I reconnected with God, and I went back to everything that He has for me today, the wonderful promises of prosperity and love. And He has restored my family. I'm back with my wife, my kids. Everything has changed for the good.
Mm.
I make the right decisions, and I can see how a man can be, and the potential of a person that is literally not under the influence, but under the influence of God. It makes a huge difference. Today, my life is completely different. I'm living the 9-step promises from AA, and today my kids love a healthy father. Today, I'm able to exercise with my kids. I'm able to pray with them. I'm able to do things that before I was missing out. I missed out about 4 or 5 years of my kids' life just because I was sick. And that's the way I put it. I was just sick. Today, I'm not sick anymore. Today, I'm dealing with the issues that brought me down, and the most important thing is that I'm not ashamed. And today, I can walk by faith. I'm regaining the trust from many people that I've hurt in the past, and I'm back in ministry. I have people now that I work And we soon we opened up a nonprofit organization, and we're gonna go to Cuba and help people there. So you see, God is literally transforming my life and in my family and my wife, and she's happy, I'm happy, everybody.
Well, it's such an inspiration. I mean, it's inspiration to your community, but also to the Speechway community as well. Because a lot of the people that are on this Facebook page and that are either alumni or they are their families of alumni and they understand what you've gone through. And it's always really special to see the joy at the end of the path here for people that have dealt with so much in their life. So thank you so much for sharing your story, Oscar. And if anybody has any questions or anything, just go ahead and comment and I will get back to you. Thank you and
Beth,
have a
thank you
great
so
day.
much. Thank you. Bye.